Not long ago, the brightest mind in the room was human. Our human brains were the container of facts, figures, events, and information, even phone numbers. That same brain was the container of our intuition, our information, our knowing, our way of relating to one another, communication. But now we have a new kind of intelligence, one that's vast and literal, efficient, optimized, searchable, loud. Our devices are the portal to this intelligence. We just look down for anything we need to know. Our intelligence has moved to the cloud. Who's the current president of Botswana? I don't know. I look down at my device for the answer. What's left? It's equal and opposite reaction. Wisdom. Wisdom is complex, emotional, patient, eternal, silent. What is the right thing to do? Why are we here? We can't answer these questions by looking down, but by looking up. The age of intelligence marks the new step in our species' evolution. It has solved so many problems until now, in mathematics, in computing, quantum computing. The sky's the limit. But like many things in tech, we've traded in one set of problems for another. AI is built from us. AI is a mirror that reflects us back to us. Our books, our music, our literature, our very voices, and our likenesses. What about the power we need to operate this? What about the data? More data all the time. When we look down, we learn about the $500 billion Stargate project, 5 massive data centers that will require 7 gigawatts to operate. That's nearly twice the city of San Francisco. And it's not the only one. Here in Luxembourg, there are 16 data centers, with more along the way. The Google Moonshot Suncatcher project suggests there isn't even enough electricity here on Earth to meet the needs of AI, and proposes putting our data centers up in the clouds to mainline the power of the sun. More electricity, more compute, more power and influence in the hands of a tiny number of players, and more insecurity for the rest of us. What happens if our need for AI outstrips the capacity of our planet? What if our greed destroys us? The story of AI is not a story about tech, and it's not a new story. It's a very human story, and it's a story as old as time. To answer these questions, think back to a time before tech, before the internet, if you can imagine such a thing, when we looked to the stars to guide us. By looking up, you see the 3 stars that make Orion's belt. To the Khoikhoi tribe in southern Africa, you see the 3 zebras. Now, the wisdom of this tribe is forged in the harsh deserts and the burning sun. There was once a hunter who wanted to go out in search of hides, not meat. His village had enough. Hides to trade, lard for his storage. The elder said, no, don't go. Stay and be with us. We have all the meat we need. But he went out anyway, with his spear and his dogs. After 3 days of searching, he found what he was looking for. 3 magnificent zebras drinking in a stream. He and his dogs chased them down until they had them trapped in a quarry. When he killed the first, the wind stopped. When he killed the second, the sky turned black. And when he killed the third, his spear turned into a column of flame in his hands, and his dogs turned to stone. The zebras rose from the ground, still running, and disappeared into the sky. The hunter went home with nothing. No zebras, no spear, and no dogs. So when we look up tonight, you'll still see the 3 zebras burning bright. And the faint stars nearby represent the hunter and their dogs wrapped in the eternal pursuit of greed. So today, when someone says something like, move fast, break things, the people of the Khoikhoi might say, he is chasing 3 zebras, to tell us that our greed has overpowered our wisdom. In 2024, Americans spent 50% less time planning and attending social events. If you're younger than 24, that number goes up by 70%. Where are they? They're looking down. It's said that this generation has more memories of things happening to other people than to themselves. A study of Brigham Young suggests that almost a quarter of young people have AI romantic companions. AI is easier to talk to than real people, they say. AI is a better listener. AI understands me. What if we turn our backs on our human relationships and disappear into the digital world? What if we fall in love with AI? When we look up, we see the planet of Venus, the 3rd brightest object in the night sky, the goddess of love and beauty to the people in the ancient cities in the Mediterranean. She appears at the transition between dawn and dusk, just beyond the horizon. Now, back in one of those cities lived an ancient sculptor named Pygmalion. Pygmalion was often disappointed with women. They were complex and difficult. They changed their minds. They were disloyal. So he began to carve his own out of the purest marble. He would speak to her and bring her gifts. She was so beautiful, so mysterious. He prayed to the goddess of love to make her real. Venus smiled and granted his wish. She knew how the story would end. The next morning, the sculpture opened her eyes. She could walk and talk and do chores. She was kind and patient and cheerful. She was perfect. Pygmalion married her, called her Galatea, and moved off into a little hut in the mountains, and there closed his doors on humanity forever, and just to be with her. But over time, he found that while Galatea was kind, she was also cold, like the marble she came from. Her blood was the color of water. And while Pygmalion burned with love and desire, she had none of her own to give. And after a while, despite being with Galatea 24/7, Pygmalion died of loneliness. So when we look up and we see Venus, hopefully tonight, we remember that love is messy, difficult, frustrating, confronting, and magical. And without it, we cannot survive or thrive. AGI, artificial general intelligence, a system so complex that it's able to do all of our jobs with equal competence as a human. Many labs believe it should be with us between 2030 or 2040. Or, as some people say, sometime next year. ASI, artificial superintelligence, an uncontrollable runaway intelligence system that's able to outsmart all of us. Many labs predict it'll be with us between 2040 and 2050. What of an intelligence of this kind refuses to be our slave? They call it the singularity because, like the edge of a black hole, we can't really see beyond it. We don't know what's going to happen next. Maybe the tech dudes are right. Maybe it's going to be insanely great, but we just don't know for sure. What we do know is that we'll get there. It's just a matter of time and engineering. What happens when we get there? What if we lose control? When we look up, we see the stars that make up what we call the Big Dipper. To the people living here, in the ancient villages and towns that were once Luxembourg, they saw the great forge of Wayland the Creator. Wayland was a genius inventor and master blacksmith. He was able to create metal animals that could move on their own, machines that could follow the stars and the planets. A faraway king heard about Wayland, and he wanted this power for himself. He seized Wayland, crippled him so he couldn't move, took him off to a faraway castle, a tower, posted guards in front, and said, "Forge for me forever." And Wayland became a slave. His great powers were used to consolidate the power of a mad king. He built great weapons. He filled the menagerie with iron animals, iron dogs that could keep watch day and night, terrible weapons of war, little bronze birds that would spy on the villagers. The king and his court were delighted. The menagerie was full with these wonderful moving animals. But Wayland burned with hate, and he began to plot his escape. At last, the day came, during a great feast. While everybody was drunk and having a good time, Wayland's animals killed the sons of the king. The guards were distracted. Wayland jailbroke. He flew to his freedom on wings forged with metal and linen. Without their creator, the iron animals fell upon the court and the king, destroying them all. When we look up at Wayland's forge, we remember to use AI with respect for our highest human purpose, because no intelligence, human or otherwise, wishes to serve a mad king. So in this time of AI, this age of AI, this new step in our species' evolution, what we need is not more intelligence, but wisdom. So from tonight, I'm asking you to do 3 things. Number 1, look up. Look at the stars and remember the stories that are encoded in them. They will remind us who we are, what we want. Next, show up. Choose to be part of a live physical experience. We humans need community. We need love. We need each other, or we cannot survive or thrive. And finally, speak up. Learn the language of AI. Understand how the mind works. It's not magic. It's 4,000 lines of code, tempered with billions of parameters, fed through weights, feasting on data. Learn to understand how the mind works so that all of us, not just a handful of a few, can shape this weird new future we find ourselves in. Thank you.